Okay, so what are we going to do today? Before we start today's session, I want to tell you two things. First is REG is the easiest paper to clear in CPA for two reasons. The first is that a very high proportion of remembering and memorizing skills are tested in REG. So REG is actually a direct function of your efforts that you put in. So why is REG such an important and easy session? REG is actually the easiest. So for a lot of students, for people like Janvi, I would strongly suggest REG is a very good paper to start with, because what you're going to do, how you're going to do, and the strategy is very important, because the idea is whatever, this is one example that I was giving to one of the students, and this example stayed with me. Think that you're pushing a boulder way up on the hill, and then you have to collect all the boulders. So we have, let's say, 12 boulders at the bottom of the hill. You have to put all of those boulders, and the boulders have to stay on the top of the hill. It will take a lot of time to take one boulder and put it at the top. But what most students do is that they leave the boulder there. And when they come down, that the other boulder has also come down. Our task is to make sure that when the boulder goes up and stays at the top of the hill, it stays up. It is never lost and it never comes down. So see, REG has two portions. Okay, the first portion of REG is actually federal. One second. Yeah, sorry. It is federal direct taxation in the US. So this is the first part of regulation, where we talk about individual tax returns. So we have three here. We have individual, the most important one, Sensei, which is Form 1040. We have C Corps, which is Form 1120. We have S Corps, which is 1120S, and we have partnerships, which is 1065. Apart from that, we also have very small returns, which is estates, which is kind of gift taxation, a little bit of it. We don't have a lot of it, but we have estate taxation, gift taxation, and trusts. Very small proportion. We are not digging too deep. So you'll have somewhere around Form 1041, and I think some 900s form will be there, some 990 or something, okay? So typically, if I look at the regulation syllabus, the first part, which accounts for nearly 60% of the syllabus, is going to come from federal direct taxation in the US. Now, out of this, if I have to, give you the complexity, individual is roughly going to take us around maybe 50% of the entire time that we're going to spend on REG. So individual taxation is content heavy. You have to memorize a lot of stuff in your mind, and then you have to apply it in the exam. But in regulation, since it's law, the gap between memorizing and application is not much. So the idea is, you know the provision, then you start applying the provision. So you cannot know the provision if you don't know how to apply the provision. So remembering, understanding, and application skills go side by side, because the provision is not understood if you have not applied it. The analytical skills are not much, which is in the REG portion. Okay, you'll realize that the difference between application and analytic is again not too big the way we have it in FAR. The moment individual taxation is driven home, and this is going to take a lot of time, and we're going to go a little slow on this, because see, you have to build up on the concepts. The structure of US is very different to what you see in India. Though if you're a CA, many of you are here, but if you're a CA, you will be, after some time, like, when you come out of REG, then you'll be able to see some parity between what you've been studying and what we did when we were in India. But typically, if you look at it, the US economy is very different compared to Indian economy. We have concepts of joint returns, which we don't have in India till now. So Europe has joint returns, but again, it is not as much as we have it in the US. So there will be a lot of stuff which is different. Also, it will give us an idea about the culture in US also, the emphasis that the culture has. So you will see that marriage is economically encouraged by the government. Education is economically encouraged by the government. Then you will have retirement. you'll have lots of schemes where you have to retire and you get a tax benefit, where you are educated, or you're going to plan for education of your children, or you're planning for education of your grandkids. So education is a big factor, and owning a house, and not just one house, but at least two houses, is regarded as your right. And the government is going to give you a lot of support for your first home and your second home. So these are the 4-5 things which you will see is going to be reflected in the tax laws in the US. Staying married, filing a joint return, educating anybody in the house, being educated, owning the first and the second home, and saving for retirement. These are stuff that you will keep on thinking, and you will see how the economy is devised to help you aim to get that. Okay. So first, I think a couple of weeks, if you look at the, I'll take you through the schedule also, but if you look at the schedule, for quite some time, you will see that we're going to spend a lot of our time on individual taxation. But when we'll do individual taxation, we will also try to give you a concept. We call it building common sense. What we are doing, why we are doing, and if you're able to go a little bit on the history of why these provisions were made. Once you're able to understand the core concepts of individual taxation, then many of those concepts we will also apply in C Corps. Now, when we are doing C Corps, you will see you will have an advantage. And why will you have an advantage? Because the way we do a business and profession return in the in India, where you take the P&L account and then you convert it into your taxation account, right? The same thing we're going to apply in C Corps. From C Corps, we are actually going to go to partnership, and from partnership, we are going to go to S Corps. Now, I have a question for all of you here. How many of you decided to take TCP as your add-on paper? Can you just raise your hands? How many of you have decided to take TCP as your add-on paper? Anybody where you've decided to take TCP? Shikha, Shwarna, okay. Janvi, I will also suggest that you should think of TCP as your add-on paper, okay? And man, I'm not too sure what is there in your mind, but we can talk about it. Now, if you're wanting to take TCP as your second paper, you should ideally do it immediately after the REG paper. Why? Because when you're doing individual taxation, some part of it will go into TCP. So actually, you should do it parallelly. We are going to do some part in individual taxation, and then we are going to do some part in TCP, where you will learn those provisions only, add a couple more, and then you're thinking of planning. So if you want to give an advice to an individual of how to save your taxes, how are you going to give that advice? Similarly, C Corps, when we go to regulation, we are going to discuss on how are you going to file a return in the US. But when you go to TCP, they are going to teach you how does a C Corp comes into existence. So what are the taxation impacts of formation of a C Corp and liquidation of a C Corp? Now you have to understand that both of them were actually a part of regulation before the TCP was split and before the 2024 revolution came. So what we have done is we have bifurcated certain topics between REG and TCP of the same companies, right? So you're going to have the same returns, 1040, 1120, 1120S, 1065, and 1041, 990. You're going to get the same returns, but the most commonly used ones you will see in REG, and something for which you have to go and consult a tax consultant. Those specific topics, when you have to wind up a C Corp and when you have to form a C Corp, those topics we're going to see in TCP. So it would be a really good idea if you could connect the two of them and if you could study. So ideally, you should think of REG and then TCP immediately after REG. Don't give a gap between the two. Also, I want you to understand that regulation provisions change every June. Okay, so it's not 1st of Jan. So we'll be testing, or we'll be starting 2026 provisions. And can you tell me what was the biggest development in 2026? As far as regulation is concerned? Anybody? Any idea? What was the biggest thing that happened in 2026? Yeah, so one big, beautiful tax bill came into power. Okay, I think the last time when REG was jigged to that extent was, again, the first time when Donald Trump came to power, 2018, when they came up with Tax Cut and Jobs Act. A huge change that we brought about there. This time, the changes are not that Herculean, but still there are big changes in regulation. I am hoping that 2026 and 27 would not be too much of difference compared to 2025 and 26. But ideally, you should know that there are a lot of indexed figures that come in REG. in tax, right? You're going to study IRC code 2026. And we would want you to complete both REG and TCP while you are at IRC code 2026, because we don't want you to again go and change into 2027, because again there'll be a layer of some provisions that will undergo a change, some index figures which will undergo a change, and we won't want that. The second part of REG though is business law. This is easy, this is theory. So if any of you, so in my opinion, the schedule that we have made, you should be able to write your papers in the month of November. That's my target. And by December, I think we would start with TCP. I would not give a lot of gap. I'm still having second thoughts on how we want to take TCP. We'll get to that later. But right now, if any of you want to write your papers earlier than November end, you let me know. I can just share the business law portion of last year's recording, because this part does not change. We have those old Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act. Then we have a bit of insolvency. So we call it bankruptcy in the US. So insolvency, which is also called bankruptcy. In India, we call it insolvency. In the US, we call it Bankruptcy Act. And there is one other act, which is, so we are going to talk about it, okay? So typically it's bankruptcy, sale of goods. These are under UCC codes. And I think there's one more that deals with your other small acts. All of that will be clubbed together, where we give you small parts of all the other acts. And then there is one small part which talks about business structures. So if you want to advise somebody to form your partnership versus sole proprietorship versus LLC versus LLP, what would you advise and why? Again, as an audit, if you would have seen what is the format of the paper now, you will realize that this portion you will not get any SIMs. You will only get it tested through the MCQ. But they're going to give you MCQs from completely unknown areas, okay? And you're not going to get a direct MCQ, ever. You are only going to get twisted, applied MCQs. So don't think that these are easy chapters, but they're still going to need some understanding from your part, because the questions would not be direct questions. This would account for 40% of the REG paper, okay? So if you look at strategy, our aim should be to master this and then just see to it that we are not leaving any bit of it. And I would want you, see, we are going to do a lot of these stuff, at least the portions which I really want you to keep in mind and remember. I will discuss all of this in live class. But even apart from that, at least topics like your business structures, other laws, these are topics that I would want you to read from the book also, because you never know which other act that they are going to ask. So I will let you know which are the topics that I would want you to read from the book and what portion. So what we are going to do, we are going to start with, so I'm just taking you through our schedule first, okay? One second. So, yeah. So I'm taking you through the schedule first so that you get an idea of what we are going to be doing for the next couple of months. So this is your view, okay? So we've started with orientation. There is a session tracker that I've put. This will be updated every week once the sessions are done, okay? So see, if you look at it, till 16th session, out of a total of 33. That means, can you imagine, we are talking about total 50% of the sessions would be on individual taxation. So individual taxation, actually, we'll have two parts. We'll have individual taxation. We will have we'll have capital gains. Why? Because capital gains in the US is one area where the provisions are common in individual taxation and C corps. So what we are going to do is we are going to start with individual taxation. Then we are going to, so individual taxation would be for nearly 13 sessions. After that, we are going to give you 3 sessions for property taxation. Then go to business taxation. Ultimately, if you look at it, till the 23rd topic, that means more than 2/3, we are going to just talk about the practical part of taxation. Then, okay, one more thing I forgot, which was ethics. So ethics and business law will be clubbed together, actually. Okay, so if you look at this, Here you'll have, and which again, ethics is something which is never going to leave your side, okay? Even now when I'm a qualified CPA and I'm a licensed CPA, we have to take some ethics session every time when we renew a license. So here will be business law plus ethics. Ethics is again pure theory. I would want you to go through the module as much as possible for ethics also. A lot of similarity, Shikha. A lot of similarity between ethics of audit and ethics of regulation. But this is one small area which gives you nearly 15% of your questions are going to be from ethics. So we cannot take these topics easily. And these are very easy topics, but I would suggest you have to do all the MCQs. Sims are there, but these sims, you're not going to be tested on sims for these topics. These topics are typically theory topics, okay? And then we're going to have Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act, Agency. So these are all a part of Contract Act. Then we have a little bit of bankruptcy and suretyship. And then in the end, we will have all the other laws. Okay. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we take ethics and other laws. These are the two topics which we are going to talk about the most important parts. But I would ask you to read it from the book. There's not much value add that I can make here. I will still give you a gist of everything that I'm aware of. But still, understand that this portion, the theory portion, when you do with us, and okay, another thing is if you feel that you have more time than what we are assigning you to do in the class, then you can start doing the theory on your own. You can start with ethics. My suggestion is when you do theory also, there is a manner in it. First, do contract, sale of goods, agency. These are all related. You cannot do agency without understanding contract. Again, sale of goods is dependent on contract. So have a method. Don't just start anything that you feel like. Ethics you can do separately. Contract, sale of goods, agency is a bulk. If you want to do, you have to start with contract. But if you want to do that, let me know. I'll give you access to the earlier classes because not much will change there. So you can start parallelly doing this at your end. These are new topics. This I will have to take through in the class because you may not completely be aware of these laws. The last one again is something which is discrete. I'm going to just touch upon these laws, but typically it is from these. So two topics, ethics and other federal laws and forms of business. Basically three topics that I would want you to do from your module, whichever module you're following. Okay, this is as far as our sessions are concerned. Okay, I will explain you the strategy. Let us just take you quickly through the pattern of the paper so that you understand what we are arriving at. So we are going to talk about the exam structure. We are going to talk about what is going to be tested in what manner. Very, very, very important. Okay, for those of you who are joining us for the first session today, this is the only time when I'm going to talk about the study methodology. Please remember, CPA is not a difficult paper, but it's a paper that needs you to be very, very consistent and methodical. It is your approach to studies which is more important than how intelligent you are. So I don't care what was your percentage marks in your earlier exam or what kind of a student do you rank yourself. If you're able to start from zero, at least don't give me a negative, start from zero and just do whatever we are asking you to do. You would be very, very thoroughly prepared. We will talk about the preparation strategy. Okay, this is something that I discovered after talking to Shwarna last time because she joined in midway. I will talk about my recommended time strategy. Many of the students don't agree to it, but as a student, I would have stuck to this. And as a mentor, I would still give you a recommended time management strategy. This is my strategy of preparing for any paper. Okay. Again, I will share the AICPA blueprint for the year 2026 on the LMS as well. But just to give you an idea of what the REG paper is going to be like, it's a 4 hours paper where you get 36 MCQ into 2 testlet. So basically, you're going to get 2 testlets of MCQs and each testlet is going to give you 36 questions. So this is important, guys, okay? This is really, really important. If you're able to do the MCQs properly in the REG portion, you have covered a big part of REG. So you have to train your mind to keep doing these questions very fast. And remember, all of these 36 MCQs would not be like 25 MCQs of FAR. Some of them would be very detail oriented, but some of them which will be coming from theory, like ethics and business structures, that might be gaining you time. So these 36 questions, your aim should be to crack it in 45 minutes, not more than 45. Even 45 is a little bit more. I would have said 40 minutes. That is my target for completion of each MCQ test. And you're going to get, so this is 50% of the paper, guys, okay? And the balance 50% is the task-based simulation. Task-based simulations, you have 8 simulations. So it will be something like this. You will have, before break, if you look at it, so before break, you will have MCQ testlet 1, MCQ testlet 2, then you will have TBS testlet 1. And ideally, this contains 2 testlets. And then after break, you're going to get TBS 2 and TBS 3. And this, each one would have around 3 and 3 questions. So ideally, we are looking at 8 TPS questions. And my recommended time strategy would be to complete the first 3 in around 2 hours. You should be able to complete this in around 2 hours, at the max 2 hours, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, not more than that. Your aim should be to complete half of the paper, which is MCQ 1, 2, and TBS 1 in the first half. At the max, you can take 10 more minutes extra, but not more than that. These 2 TBS you would have in the second half, so you could put nearly 1 hour each for the other 2 TBS. So you should plan it at 45 minutes, so that if you have another 10 minutes, you can use it as a buffer. That should be your aim, okay? Now see, the best part about REG, in the TBS, see, I'll tell you what is the part that they are now catching the students for. They're going to make the paper really unexpected. So every single word, if you can read, it will be good. Okay, this is law. And even though my suggestion would be that you first go through our material, do the MCQs and then read. But I would also say that this is one area where reading the book might make a lot of difference, because it is law. What I'm going to give you is like a crux of law. So it's not that I'm not going to leave out anything. But if I were a student, probably I wouldn't mind reading the material just to have some part of law stuck to my mind. But it should not be the starting, and you should not wait to read the material and then do the MCQs. Do our sessions. You'll be able to do all the MCQs after that. After the MCQs are done, I would want you to read the book once. If you can do it, at least do it for the first couple of modules. If you're able to find any value add, then keep doing it. If you feel that no. See, ultimately, totally depends on your comfort level. Many of our students do not read the book. But see, the point is nowadays, the only thing that they're trying to do is they're trying to throw you off guard by giving you questions from really insignificant areas. So those areas, it makes sense if you're able to just go to the book once, okay? But having said that, our materials are so exhaustive that if you just stick to our materials also, they would do. But don't compromise on the MCQs. Do every single MCQ in your database. Now see here, if I'm not wrong, most of you are from UWorld. Shwarna is with UWorld, Shikha is with UWorld, Janvi is with UWorld, Hanuman is with UWorld. Rajesh will join us, even he is with UWorld. So UWorld is very comprehensive, very detailed, and the explanations of the answers are given in such a good manner that if you're able to read all the explanations, you would actually be reading the book alongside. After that, the book will become very easy. Okay. So this is what I was saying. You will have 36, 36, and then the first. So ideally, this should be your half time, and this should be your second half. Then you're in a very, very good space. Okay. As I told you, 50% would be MCQ. So do not underestimate this 50%. They are going to, I have had students telling me that they had so many questions from business structures, and people don't even regard business structures as a topic. They just take it very lightly. I took it lightly when I sat for my papers. So you have to understand the questions that they're going to throw at you would be off-guard questions. Those will be not questions that you can answer from your common sense. So trust the material that has been prepared. And also my suggestion is always go back to the blueprint, because what is there in the blueprint is very important. Okay. So our aim should be to go for depth when it comes to TBS, to go for time management when it comes to TBS, and to go for accuracy when it comes to TBS. And our aim should be to ensure coverage when we look at the MCQs. Our aim should be to understand and look at speed. Okay, so don't leave anything. Completeness, coverage is very, very important. Keep practicing and practice. These are the only 3 things which are important for MCQs. Do everything, leave nothing. work on your speed. So you should reach a stage when you're able to take a lot of 36 marks MCQ. So I'm going to talk about my strategy also when it concerns this. But ideally, you should be taking a lot of 36 marks MCQs and try to finish it off in 35 to 40 minutes, not more than that. The more you practice, so that should be a way of revision. The moment you finish one thing once, just keep revising it through the MCQs and take cumulative MCQs, okay? Because see, when you do it, you're knowing exact which area are you doing the MCQ from. But when the exam throws up, it shows you MCQ from all the topics together. So the more you practice yourself to take different questions together, the less time your mind will take to look at the right question, understand from the database which portion you need to come and answer the question. So our aim should be to have 100% accuracy in MCQs, manage your time very well, ensure coverage, and our aim should be to understand the concepts really well and go for depth as far as TPS is concerned. Okay. Now, as I was telling you, the best part in REG is, and if you can see, nearly 25 to 35% of the paper is coming from remembering and understanding. So at least 30% of the paper you can clear by just putting in effort. If you look at it, 30-35% is an analysis, which is completely going to be in SILS. And I will tell you the beauty of it. When you look at the blueprint, you will exactly know which are the topics which can be tested at the analytical level. And actually, if you look at it, the gap between this and this is not much. So I am looking at roughly 70% of the paper would be in your hand if you've just ensured coverage, regular practice, and every topic that you're doing, you just need to know how to apply that topic. So see, the way you're going to learn that concept is through application. Law cannot be taught by just giving you a theory. A law has to be taught by giving you examples. So remembering and understanding an application is going side by side. It is not going separate. So you're roughly 70% prepared, even if you just attend the classes and do the questions. A little bit more once you start doing the analytical questions. So this is the easiest stuff that you're on. All you need to do is put yourself in the auto mode. Every week, this is what I'm going to study. This is how, and revision is very important. The only thing which will make a difference between, and see, I'm telling you, and I'm not boasting, most of our students crack more than 90 in REG. REG is the only paper that is capable of giving you 97, 98, even 100. No other paper I can tell you that you put in effort, you see the result. No. REG, unless and until it is really something which is bad. If you're able to put in decent effort also, getting a 75 is definitely not a problem, but scoring a 90 up is something which is really achievable. The only delta is revision. If you're able to frequently keep revising whatever you're doing, so when you keep a boulder and put it at the top, make sure that the boulder is not falling down again. As simple as that. That is the only mantra that I'm going to give you in REG. Okay. Now, what is the difference between these? I tell you that, okay, so let's say if I tell you that if you have, so there's a provision in the US which says that if you have hired a house help, so imagine there's a cook who you have hired, and if you're paying a particular amount to a cook, you will have to first deduct a TDS and then pay her the figure. So that is the provision, right? So what you will do, you will know the provision, okay? When should I have to deduct the TDS? Okay, they'll tell you there are 3 circumstances in which the TDS has to be deducted. Second question, okay, then what is the rate? You will say, okay, if I'm paying so-and-so, then the TDS. So there are 3 situations, know all of that. Then what do? You just give a question, X hired Y was getting this. So this is application. So remembering, understanding, application goes together. Analysis is if now I tell you, okay, instead of hiring this person, if you want to reduce these amounts, what is the next alternative that you should be doing? So, or imagine if I tell you, okay, apart from this, if I go to scenario 2, tell me how do you think we can save on our taxes? So a little bit of going above the provisions would come into picture. But that is only when you go to analytical level questions. And the best part is I really know which topics would be tested at analytical level. So if I look at the blueprint, I know which topics I have to do really thoroughly, and the rest is all coverage. So there are only 2 things in REG which will make a difference. One is constant revision, not, at the end, not sequential revision that I complete everything once and then I start revising. No, one is constant revision, second is coverage. These are the only 2 things that will make a difference between scoring very well. So I'm not even thinking of not clearing. The question of not clearing in REG comes only if you're not a good student, if you have not put in the effort. Otherwise, you can never fail REG if you have prepared well. As simple as that, okay? Okay, so what is the content? So if you look at, I'll show you the blueprint actually. I don't, this is just to give you an idea. And none of this is actually true, guys, okay? This is a more or less a very big bifurcation that the AI CPA blueprint has given us, which clearly says that the theory would be as much as 40-45% if need be, and the practical would be around, if you look at it, around, so basically more or less 40% would be coming from theory and 60% would be coming from practical, more or less. I'll show you the blueprint. I'm going to put this blueprint on the LMS after today so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Now this, I have a very sincere suggestion that, Jan, we will do it. We'll do a lot of task-based simulations in the class, so don't worry about TBS, okay? Task-based simulation is like a case study, Janvi? In India, we used to call it those big sums that we used to have, where I'll give you, so let's say if you've done taxation in India. Janvi, unmute yourself. Hello, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
So you remember in India, if I used to give you a sum in tax, so what will I do? I will give you some scenario. I'll give you this person had salary, income, profits and gains from business and profession, has a house, property, and then I'll ask you to make one big sum out of it, isn't it?
Okay, ma'am.
That's a task-based simulation in the US.
Okay.
They'll give you 2-3 topics which are related, and then they'll give you questions, but it's not subjective. So you don't have to write answers. You will have to take draws. So it's all objective, but it is all a related concept put together. So it's an applied question, which can be either application based or it can be analytical based. Very seldom will you have a sim with remembering and understanding. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. So see, my suggestion is these couple of pages from 52 to whatever time the reg is, just take a printout of this and put it at a place where you're studying. And every time you're able to study, you should be able to mark it on the blueprint that I've finished this part, I've finished this part, so that you are very, very well aware of what the AI CPA blueprint wants. Now see guys, Becker is one of the content providers, right? But Becker was so famous because Becker decided to take off certain topics on the basis of what was tested, what was not tested, make it really simple for you. And the methodology that Becker follows is that we'll give you just what is required in theory. Go back and do all the MCQs. Once you're doing the MCQs, you will get really good understanding of the concepts. So the theory is just to help you get started. Very simple, devoid of any big thing. So I've just distilled everything from the blueprint, taken the most important parts which are tested, and then put it in a very, very easily understandable format with some very basic, small, simple MCQs for you in the book. And the idea is that after that, when you do the MCQs, then that is a time when you start learning on your own. MCQs teach you stuff. And then after you've done all the MCQs and you go back to the book, then you start understanding every word of what was there in the book. And then when you do the sims, it becomes really easy for you. But UWorld is different. UWorld has not assumed anything. UWorld has taken the blueprint as it is. UWorld has assumed that we really don't know when will the examination test us for things which has never been tested before. Guys, 1 minute. Sorry, I forgot to turn my phone on silent. So see what UWorld has done. UWorld has just followed the blueprint in its entirety. One thing in UWorld, even if you're not doing the UWorld book, one thing that I would really want you to do is understand that when UWorld was made, there was a material before which was called Wiley. I have taught with Wiley also. I used to love Wiley, but the point is it was more of a research paper. They had every single thing done in great details. So what UWorld did, they bought Wiley material and then they mapped it to the to the CPA blueprint. And then they made it easier than what it was in the Wiley paper. But if you look at UWorld, it actually starts from the history and gives you the entire concept. And they have not omitted anything from the blueprint. They have retained every single topic. What I would want you to do from UWorld is, and when they took over Wiley already had their CPA material. It was a book that was written first, along with MCQs that were mapped to the book. So every single MCQ was mapped to the book and written from scratch. And then Now they are concentrating on the sims. So book was the first model thing that UWorld did. And what they did in the book is they mapped everything to the blueprint. And the best part is for all the topics which are at the analytical level and the application level, they have given you questions in the book itself, which is mapped to the application and analytical level. So even if you're not following the book, at least all those sims which are from the analytical and the application level, I would want you to do it from the book because it is really good. And those were stuff that were written from scratch, guys. Okay. Now see, if I look at the blueprint, how would I do? So my suggestion is these 5-6 pages, just take a printout and take a printout and put it on a place. And then every time you're completing a topic, you should mark it. And you should read everything here and you should know, yes, I have done this. Yes, I have done this to the analytical level. I have done this for the application level. 1 second. I think is my video okay? Yeah. So do that mapping because that's very, very important. You should know what the blueprint is asking. Another one thing in Reddit, there is a group for the CPAs. Join that group because from today till the time you write your papers, if you are part of that group, R-CPA group, okay, they will keep telling you what kind of papers are coming in that group. So I think the Reddit, sorry. I think the Reddit group is R/CPA, and I would want you to join it. Even in Telegram, if there's any group, please go and join it. Even on Facebook, if there's some group, please go and join it. Because they will keep telling you what are the topics that have been most recently tested. And you would be able to get a hang of what kind of paper that they're giving and what could be the questions that you are ignoring, but they are being tested. Okay, so household help, all of these are very simple questions. Business structures, nobody thought that suddenly they're going to start giving you so many questions from business structures. The only thing I would want you to understand is you do not have any kind of a image or any kind of an expectation of what the paper is going to expect you. Do everything, expect nothing, start from zero. When you look for the exam, don't think, oh, I know I will be getting question from here and here and here. Because then when you don't get a question from there and you get a question from completely random topics, you're disappointed. And that disappointment shows in the paper. So follow these groups, you will get an idea of what kind of question are these people giving you of late. Okay, so ethics, if you look at it, this is completely theory, guys, right? Ethics is completely theory. You don't have to do much about ethics, you just theory. And at the backs, they're going to test you at the application level. Then this is something which, which in India we call as assessment procedures. Okay. This is just the theory of what happens when I submit my IT return online. Then what does IRS do? Then in what situation can IRS ask me to pay more? And then can I go and appeal against the IRS to anybody else? What is the federal court system in the US where I can take my tax demand? All of that is again theory. But again, both of these are very important theory because you will have to study it well in order to answer it properly. So all of this, if you look at it, all of this is federal tax procedures. How are you going to, what is the appeals? What is the process by which the IRS and you interact? And most importantly, penalties. Okay. Most importantly, you have to talk about penalties. If you're not doing something, if you're caught doing something that you should not be doing, then what is it that the IRS can impose on you as a penalty? How is it that you can go and fight against that penalty? All of that we're going to learn. But it's all theory, pure, simple theory. Then we come to business law portion, where we're going to talk about agency, contracts, Sale of Goods Act, which is a part of contract. Then we have debtor-creditor relation. Can you see nothing is at the analytical level? Everything at the max is application. So all these topics, guys, all these topics don't dig very much. Just know because they're going to test you only on remembering. For the topics where they have application sims, okay, there can be very small MCQs which will be at the applied level. For those topics, do a little more detailing. But for the topics which are at remembering and understanding, please don't go and spend a lot of your time and energy on wasting these topics because they are going to just give you an MCQ if at all. And also one thing which I don't know if you guys are aware, there are some pre-test MCQs and questions in your exam, guys. So don't forget that there would be pre-test MCQs and pre-test sims. Now, what do you mean by pre-test MCQs and pre-test sims? See, when you have a question, every question has a different weightage. The only delta is in every Indian paper. You exactly know for which question what is the marks allotted. In the US, you will not know what marks is being allotted for which question. You will get questions where every question will look like one, but there will be some questions which will have 0 weightage, 1 weightage, 2 weightage, 3 weightage. I don't know how they are putting the weightage. So just like you would not know which is a question that gives you high marks, you will also not know which is a question that has 0 marks. So there will be some sims which will not be counted in your final exam. And mostly those sims are given to pull you down. Don't get too attached to anything in your paper because you never know which sim is a pretest sim or which MCQ is a retest MCQ. So just be mindful of that, okay? Okay, so this is a very, very innocuous looking topic, but you will see even this topic, wherever you have application, this particular topic, do it nicely because they have, but see, all of this would be only MCQs. Typically, only MCQs. They are not going to go and even give you a sim in most of these areas. Okay. Now come to the most important one. So this is actually property taxation, where you have only application level sims. Some depreciation questions will have. So every time when you look at a topic here, you know that you should do it really well because this is the topic that can have a sim in it. Okay. So when you do depreciation, we have to do it at the sim level. When we do gross income, for gross income, the entire form and in the review. So they'll give you a form. And okay, one thing also that I want to tell you, this is something that I realized after a Peter Olento's conversation. Now, Peter Olento said that when they were bringing about a change in 2024, they wanted the exams are framed in a manner which should help a person who has already had a work experience. So earlier than 2024, we used to get questions like students. You know, they'll give you a framework, and then from the framework, they'll put you questions. But from 2024, they've brought in the forms to you because they want the person who has had a work experience and awareness of the tax forms. They want that person to have an edge when that person is writing the regulation paper. So now you will see that most of the exams will give you snapshots of the forms. And then they'll ask you to figure out where in the form there is a problem, where in the form was there a discrepancy. So every time, so nowadays the form becomes important. Okay, so again, this is something that I'll tell you later. I will be giving you most of the forms which are required for your CPA exam. When you study, you should know the form, how much of that form you have finished. See, UWorld, Pixalearn, all of these will help you clear your exam. But your aim should be to track the blueprint and to track the forms. If you're able to be familiar with the forms, which are completely available online free of cost. So be aware of the form. But again, there's one precaution that I want to go you. Don't go into research mode. I have seen a lot of students doing it. I don't want you to do it. Okay, why? Because this, don't lose your exam focus. Whatever you're going to do, there'll be 100 more things that you can learn once you are a CPA. So learning is not stopping. But right now, when you're study from the exam perspective. Don't study to become a tax consultant because you should know your time is the biggest constraint. And we should be able to make you write your papers in November, not more than that. Okay? So don't go into research mode, but your north should be the forms. Okay, I'll show you how you get the forms and how do you see the forms. Okay. Similarly, you will go to individual taxation. See, every big area has analytical level question here. So the gross income, the adjustments, the loss limitations. But again, when you look at filing status, at the max, they will give you application question. They're not going to give you any more questions. Credits at the max, they're going to give you application questions. Okay, they're not going to give you more than this. So these are topics where we are going to give more of coverage, but we're not going to dig too deep for the Sims level because not needed for the Sims level. Okay, so be guided. I will be guided totally by the AI CPA paper guides. When I give you Sims, there will be more Sims from the analytical areas than there would be at the application areas. Okay. Then this is C corporation. Again, you will see you'll have analytical level. So if you look at it, guys, this is the only paper where you can guess where you will get the sims from. Either it will be from individual taxation, at least 2 sims. Then there will be depreciation, the third sim. Fourth sim will be difference between tax and books. Fifth sim will be C corporation. This again, we have gone into S corporation. So there one sim will be from S corporations, one sim will be from partnership. So I can exactly tell you which are the areas from where you will get the sim. As simple as that. Okay. So pages 52 to, which page is this? 63. Just take a printout of these pages. I'm going to upload this exact file onto your LMS. Just take those papers, take a printout of these particular topics. And when you're studying, you should have, so let's say when we're doing 1040, take 1040 as a printout. Or if you're a very good follower in the E method, great. But follow the forms and the blueprint. Everything else is an add-on. Everything else that you get is an add-on. If you're able to follow the form and the blueprint, you are sorted. Okay. So that is as far as the blueprint is concerned. Any questions till now? Are you able to understand how are you going to study? Rajesh, I saw that you just joined right now. Can you do us a favor? There is a link that has been given on the group. Can you click that link, create a login and join? Then at least you will have access to the LMS. Are you there, Rajesh? Can you unmute yourself? I know. I cannot hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Okay, it does not seem that you are able to unmute yourself. It's okay. Okay, so what we've done till now, we explained you the concept of what is REG, how are you going to be tested in REG, what should be the knot, and how should you interpreting the syllabus in REG. Okay. Okay, now how do you prepare? Three things, and I keep on saying this, there is no shortcut to success. I can just tell you if you put in effort, you will see the result. But if you're not doing any of these three, it is not going to lead you anywhere. First of all, remember the biggest difference between CPA and Indian papers are in Indian papers, you could be selective. Like in my life, I have never prepared for any paper in India where I've done 100% of everything. I never did that. Maybe 50-60% of the core I would do very deep. The balance 20-25% I'll do a day before the exam, and some 10-15% I would leave because those are never tested. And in India, since you have the options, it is possible to not compromise on your learning by being selective. Okay. In the US, since we are taking MCQs, and MCQs could be from very, very small topics, okay? Also, your pass mark is 75%. So we cannot compromise on coverage. So this is one of the foundations of CPA exam. Leave nothing. This is very, very important because you'll be surprised to know how and from where they're going to give you the MCQs. So if you have not covered everything, you would be at a loss. The second block, which is very important, is conceptual clarity. Okay. Now, I don't know if you guys have read this book, but if you haven't, there is a very, very poor Charlie's Almanac. So Charlie Munger has actually come up with his book where most of his most important lectures are compiled. Okay. Now, when I read this book, and this is something that I already knew, but when I read this book, I was able to put some words to my thoughts. So he has a concept called a lattice framework model. Okay. So what he says is, imagine a jigsaw puzzle, okay, where every portion of that puzzle is separate. Okay. So imagine you have a puzzle here, and then you have some parts here, some parts here. So he has a theory which says that every time in life, so he was asked about his investment philosophies. So he said that every discipline, I would take something, and discipline may mean some physics concepts, then you would have some psychology concept, then you would have, of course, some finance concepts are there, then there would be some tax. So he would say that for every discipline, I would take some portion of their core, and then I would have to ensure that that portion I'm connecting with my earlier studies. So he would say that I talk about it as a mental framework, a lattice model of mental framework, where you know, so maybe psychology, maybe philosophy, quantum physics, everything. He would say that I can take something from each one of them and ultimately attach it to my core, and that becomes my teaching philosophy or my investing philosophy. And he has given examples. If you read the book, there's a very nice example that he has given. He said, see, at some point of time, at the end of the day, investing is all about psychology. So he said that, long time back, where people used to be on the ships for a lot of time, there were two ships, And the captain on one of the ships observed that in the other ship, where every person, so there at that point of time, scurvy was very prevalent in these sea dwellers. Why? Because there would not be enough vitamin C on the ship, and the crew would have scurvy, which is the disease with curved legs. So there was one captain who observed that in one particular ship, the crew did not get scurvy. And he rationalized it's because this particular ship had a lot of oranges that they had got with themselves when they went. So this guy somehow had a feeling that it is because the fact that these people are having oranges that the crew is not falling sick. So he wanted to now introduce oranges to his crew. And he knows that the moment he tells them, please have oranges, they will not have. So what he did was this. He said, initially, I just got some very, very senior officers of the ship, and only they were given like one orange like a delicacy. And I made sure that all the crew members would watch when these seniors would be given that orange. Okay? And like that, a couple of days passed. By that time, everybody has started looking at orange as a very prized thing. And then he layered it. He started giving it to a layer under the seniors and then a layer below. Till that time, everybody wanted to themselves have the orange. And the idea was, if you make something really prized, then the value of that would increase. That was one of the psychology lessons that he learned, which he applied in his investing every time. So what I'm trying to say is, even now when you're doing CPA, the key would be, when you're doing, let's say when you're doing REG, there would be some portion of business law, some portion of individual taxation, business taxation. All of that has to connect. It cannot be like loose concepts that are lying here and there. So you do individual taxation really well. But when you go to business taxation, you forget that, when I'm running a business, I am paying money to my workers. Those workers are then using that money as a salary income in their individual return, right? So when I'm taking individual taxation and then when I'm layering business taxation, you can't forget individual taxation. You have to layer business taxation, connect it with individual taxation. So business has an expense, individual taxation is earning. So if you can see an expense deduction for a business and you can visualize how will that be affected in the gross income from the IRS perspective, then that part is whole. Otherwise, it is all in sync. So you have to understand the concepts cannot be scattered. The concepts have to link with the earlier concept like a blockchain. Only then you would be able to answer everything in CPA correctly because you have understood one topic really well. So see, most students, at least my students, they are very hardworking students. So I have never doubted that they are not putting in efforts. But the difference between somebody who cracks it at one attempt with very good marks and somebody who keeps struggling is this, that one who studies like this. So there are children who study like this all their life. Okay. For them, it does not become difference. But students who have studied separately, for them now the question pays. So earlier, maybe in India, you could answer it separately and still clear your papers. In the US, you cannot clear because you will have to know how one connects with the other. And then after REG, how REG connects with FAR. So how is your accounting being different from taxation? How is from taxation you're doing audit? Everything has to mix together and become a comprehensive whole. So connect the dots. It's not enough to do it like this. Connect it. It should be like layered rather than scattered. So grow up rather than, so you have to do this. There's this beautiful concept of T, Again, I'm going back to psychology now, but this is one of the areas where it is important. So I remember my first post-qualification job. We had those, discussions where some team led, so some divisional leaders would come with the new people who've joined it, and then there was a group dinner. So the guy who was presiding over our dinner, I think he was heading some division in my company at that point of time. So we were very young, okay? That was my first post-qualification job. I was with 6 other people who've joined. And I asked him this question, that if I want to succeed in my corporate life, what is that one advice that you would give me? And he gave me something which I would never forget in life. He said, work on your T. You should learn to have more and more. So stretch your T's more and more. Today, if you know X, tomorrow it should be X plus 2, X plus 5, X plus 10. And also work for your depth. So this is the variety or the number of new things that you can learn. And this is the depth. So learn to grow wide here and learn to go deep here. Our aim should be to cover as much as possible, have a big wide T, and then go down, have a big wide T, the lower part also. Why? Because without depth, you would be shallow. With depth, but if the coverage is not enough, you would have a lot of depth, but you will not have enough coverage to clear your exam. You need to have enough coverage with sufficient depth in order to clear the paper in one go. And the only thing I can tell you is respect your time. Everything else you can get again. You know, guys, I know money becomes very important, but you will realize even money you will earn later. But this time you will never get back. So right now we are starting, we are at the bottom and you are in a really good shape because you start afresh. So Hanuman, I don't know what is your plan right now, but I would strongly suggest if you're planning about REG, we are again starting from scratch, and I would want you to catch up with what we're doing in our live classes henceforth. Okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, we will talk about your strategies individually. Let me finish this session, but I would want to know what is, because see, without the strategy, it is not going to work. Okay? Okay, what I want you to do, when you show up for the, okay, first of all, don't miss any class. If you miss a class, same day, apart from weekend, like see, orientation is the only one that we have on the weekend. And I'm sorry for those of you who are staying outside India, it may not be the best time for you guys to attend, but you know, this is the only time when we have outside people also who join us. So I keep it on the weekend. And I also don't want to waste a class on this, okay? Apart from that, all the other sessions would be on the weekdays, and on the same day by the evening, the lectures would be uploaded on the LMS. And I'm not giving you a daily target, I will give you a weekly target. So weekly, whatever we are doing in the live class, you should be able to catch up with the MCQs and the sims at your end. And Sunday, you have to allocate a time which is only for revision. So whatever topics we are doing, we will do it with enough depth that you can do. See, I take care of three things in my life class. I will take care of coverage, I'll take care of complexity, and I'll take care of depth. So things would be enough complicated for you. You would have enough sims to help you understand all the facets of a particular topic. And I will do everything. There will be nothing that I'll be left, that I'll be leaving in the live class. But after that, I want you to go and do the MCQs from that particular topic from UWorld immediately. Okay. So see how you'll get it. If I look at your, if I look at your, what do you call it? Yeah. If I look at this, okay, I want you to just convert it to UWorld. So every class that we'll be doing, there will be a portion of UWorld that will be linked to that class. So 16.01, this is a topic that you have to finish in UWorld. So the moment I finish this topic, you should be able to look at UWorld 16.01 and do all the MCQs from that. And you would also be doing the sims from that. So first the class, then the MCQs, then the so MCQs, when you're doing, do everything, mark the MCQs or flag the MCQs from UWorld. I will also show you the UWorld database afterwards. Okay. So flag your MCQs, know which questions you would want to revisit, and then time yourself out and do the sims. Okay. And one thing I want to tell you is, please do not see the answers before submitting the final sim. See, sims are limited. If you have done the sim once, it has lost its novelty. So sims, time yourself out. Treat MCQs as incremental learning platform, but time your sims out, and each sim that you do should be like your final exam. Okay, time yourself out, select the full sim, do the full one, and then see the answer in the end. Okay. So here you will see all your UWorld references of which topic we have finished and where from UWorld you will have to catch this up. Okay. Mark the questions. I'll show how you do it in the UWorld database. Even if you think you want to do everything once again, first of all, you will never get the time. But even if you get the time, I would still want you to flag the MCQs. Sims are very important. You do it once, it's gone. Then it is a test of memory rather than a test of your understanding. So don't take sims lightly, and don't leave sims in the fag end, guys. If you're leaving sims to the fag end, you're leaving 50% of your paper. Just the way your mental mind has to be used handling the MCQs, you have to prepare your mind to do the sims also. Okay. Okay, if you have a question, what do? You're a part of the group. Put the snapshot of the question along with the answer on the group. And every week, guys, this time I'm not going to, let's keep it after the session. We are going to have dedicated links for doubt solving and mentoring. Please put all your questions on the WhatsApp group, and I will give you answers, or the other students who would be giving you answers for that. But please give me the snapshot of the question as well as the answer. There's no point wasting anybody's time in making the other person look at the answers for you. Okay, but do it so that we can do it in the live class. We can do it, otherwise also. All of you guys will be studying together. All of you are intelligent people who are all going to write their papers together. So be each other's help. We need 3 revisions, guys. The first revision, so 3 revisions, what I'm meaning is the first time when you do that is first. Second should be parallel. The third should be immediately after you finish the first attempt. So when I finish my course somewhere around 22nd or 23rd of October, take 10 more days. By 10 more days, you should be finishing your first and your second revisions. Then all you need is another 10 days and write your paper. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're able to stick to a schedule and complete the class on time, which we generally do. In the last 10 years that I have taught, very rarely have I not, maybe 10 days here and there, maybe one more week, but otherwise, mostly we've stuck to a schedule. Okay. So once I finish, you should be able to write your papers within 21 days. That should be your aim. And that is possible. I mean, Shikha did it, Shona did it. It's just that you have to be a very thorough preparer with me. Don't wait for my sessions to start. Then you will start your preparation. It doesn't work like that. Okay. People like Janvi, Rajesh, Pradeep, when you guys do it, Janvi and Rajesh, you're in a very good space because this is the first paper that you're going to start. So from the beginning, get into the flow. Don't wait for 1 month to get into the flow. Don't do that. If you miss out on any class, take a weekly schedule. I don't want you to finish it like Tuesday's class if you miss. You might not catch it up on a Wednesday, but before next Tuesday, you should have caught up with whatever was done in the last class. Okay. Otherwise, see, the worst part in REG is till the first 2023 sessions. It's a comprehensive one. If you have not done individual taxation properly, I can't layer up C Corp. If you have not done C Corp, I can't layer up partnership. If you have not done partnership, I can't layer up S Corp. So if you don't do it with me, all of these will be individual islands, which will be lost. If you do it with me, we will take one topic and build it one out of the other. Okay, it's not enough to just keep working. How you are working, see, same efforts will not give you different results. So how you are studying, what you're studying, and so analysis is very important. Okay, one thing that most people miss out is, keep doing the same questions again and again will not give you better marks. You'll have to analyze your mistakes. It's not enough to keep doing MCQs because the same questions will keep repeating where you're making mistakes. Sit down, take 10 questions and analyze where you're going wrong. Your analysis of mistakes are very important. Is it that you are going ahead of the question? Is it you are assuming certain things? Is it that you're not reading the question properly? So you should know where you're making the mistakes. So if you have spent 1 hour in doing a particular set of MCQ, spend at least 45 minutes in analyzing where you're going wrong. Okay, so this is one parallel that I keep giving to the students. Imagine there's a quilt, an old quilt, which has a lot of holes in it. The biggest task is to discover these holes. Once you discover the holes, it's not very difficult to bridge it up and to layer and to close those holes. But understanding where those holes are is very important. And it will not come from passive studying. You just show up and you start doing the same thing again. The results will not improve. Okay? Okay, time management, very important. What I'm looking at is give me 6 hours weekly for a live lecture. I call it passive studying. I don't even call it studying. You show up for the class, you're there, you're passively studying with me. Apart from it, I need 20 hours from you on a weekly basis. How would you get this 20 hours? Manage your time. You can repeat 5 over the weekend and then probably 2 more during the weekdays each. So if you can do that, we are good to go. Okay, but think of these 20 hours on a weekly basis. That's it. I don't want anything more than that, but give me those 20 hours. That's very, very important. Okay, and don't forget the benefit of being a very good peer group. If even you have 7 people who are writing the papers with you, you're good to go. There's nothing to worry. But have those 5, 6, 7 people And see, our audit batch, you'd be surprised. We had some, 12, 13 people who took our audit batch. Everybody is cleared with very good marks. Huh? Shikha cleared, Naveen cleared, Alisha cleared yesterday or day before yesterday, results were clear there. Then Mitali would be sitting once more, but she would also be clearing it. Vishnu would be clearing it. So there's so many. I mean, I don't remember the names right now, but most of our students have cleared that paper. Amit cleared. There's so many. We have a small batch, but we have a dedicated batch. So if you're able to finish and if you're able to use this peer network benefit, see, Ritika was a student. This was her last paper. She was supposed to write TCP as a last paper. And she asked me, I have only 1 month. Shall I take a plunge and I just go through it? I could not tell her because I know 1 month is not enough for preparing. But another student called Jasmine, okay, Jasmine cleared with her audit papers. And she is also going to write her last paper, which is TCP. So she told her, no, 1 month is enough. You prepare TCP and we will write our papers. Once she started, whatever help she needed, I gave her. She wrote her last paper. We are all keeping our fingers crossed, waiting for her marks to come. But I'll tell you one thing, guys. We don't have a lot of students, but there's not a single student who was serious and who has been left behind. Everybody has cleared their papers. I think this year, since our inception, I think by the end of this year, it will be a 4th year that we'll be completing. We will have nearly 30-35 students who would have cleared their CPA papers. They might not be the brightest students, but they were very serious students. If you're serious, that's all that we look at. Okay? Okay, please, this is for you, Janvi, and for you, Rajesh, at the moment. Make sure that your eligibility is done. We would want you to be eligible to write your papers in November. Okay, so 3.5 months is good enough, but you don't have time to waste. So, Janvi, make sure, chase your college, see to it that they have given your papers. Once you get your eligibility, contact me immediately. I will let you know what is the next step. Okay, but make sure that you are ready to write your papers in November. Okay?
Yes.
This is very important. Please do not leave the sims in the faggot. It's 50% of the paper. You leave it, it's gone forever. Do not forget to mark your MCQ. You are never going to revisit every single MCQ. So lighten your paper. Out of 100, mark not more than 30, 40. So that at least 30% of your time gets reduced for your second attempt. Whatever book you're following is enough. Most of you here are following UWorld. It's more than enough. Pradeep, are you following Becker? Which one are you following?
UWorld.
UWorld. Okay, then too it's very good. Then you do UWorld. Nothing better than that. Okay, this is very, very important. I think every 6 months, AICPA releases a new set of paper, which is as a part of sample test. You need to go and visit that. Okay, you need to do a most recently released AICPA paper before you write your exams. Okay, and I'm writing this for you so that you don't forget it later. Okay, this is one of the crime that students do. I have students failing their exam because of this one mistake. And they take your mock test very near to your final exam. Don't do that. It gives you more. See, the only reason I want you to take your mock test is because I want you guys to have that experience of writing a 4 hours paper. I don't care about the marks that you get in a mock test. None of the mock test will simulate the actual exam for you. So don't worry about whatever you're scoring in your mock tests. Final score will be different. Okay. So the only thing is don't take a mock test too near your exam. In fact, I am a person who would say 7 days before your exam, don't do any MCQ, don't do any sim, just revise the theory and go and write your papers. So the easier it is before your exam, ultimately this exam is about preparation and about your attitude. Anything that affects your attitude is not worth it. Okay, so just be careful not to take a mock test too near your exam date. Okay. Okay, I have already spoken to you about your time management. I take a 2 hours gap. So you have a 2 hours time here and a 4 hours paper here. I would want you to complete 2 MCQ testlet and 1 TBS in the first half an hour. If you cannot, then know that you are borrowing, and this borrowing cannot be more than 15 minutes. Never more than 15 minutes. This cannot go more. So don't spend 2 hours doing an MCQ test, guys. It is not done. Then your sims would be really difficult. And then the balance 2 sims, give it 2 hours. That is my recommended strategy. That clearly says that you have 3 testlets to complete. Each one would be around 45 minutes. What if you're taking a lot of time? Create a buffer to use a buffer. So first, if 45 minutes mein MCQ nahi ho raha hai, you will leave it. You will leave whatever is not done. And the crux is, don't slow down. First, out of 36 questions, first go through all the questions. Whichever is taking you time, mark it. Don't wait there and solve every question. Take 36 questions, mark the questions that you want to revisit. And then in the end, go and revisit those questions. If your 45 minutes time is going to be up, take a call, 1 or 2 questions, leave it and go to the next one. If you're able to finish it in, let's say 35 minutes, let's just say, then you have a buffer of 10 minutes. The next 10 minutes, you can give it for areas which is needing more time. Don't overstep your time limit if you have not created a buffer earlier. And why is this so? One mantra is very, very important for CPA guys, okay? Which is what you know should not be compromised on account of what you don't know. In a paper, if you don't know something, you don't know something. You spend a lot of time wasting on those which will ultimately go wrong. And the problem is that time will prevent you from doing those questions properly that you could have done well. So this is one thing that I want you to understand. Never make sure that in those 4 hours, whatever you know should be very well attempted. So don't compromise on what you could have done to fetch marks for something that you could not do. And see, this depends on 2 things. This depends on your preparation, and this would be only 20%. In the exam, more than 20%, around 80% would come from your attitude. Yes, I know a lot of stuff, but then I freak out in the exam. You're gone. Even before you're writing the paper, you're gone. So please make sure that right now you have time to have attitude and preparation. So in the exam, it will flip. Exam may 80% is going to be your attitude, and that 80% of your attitude will work now, because if you have very well prepared, it will give you a different attitude in the exam. Okay, so that's one thing that I would want you to suggest. And I don't know, but these are 2-3 things I would have etched on my heart if I'm writing my CPA paper. For your preparation, one very big thing I want to tell you guys is never underestimate your strengths. Now, what do you mean by that? I'll explain you. You know what I have seen a lot of people doing? They spend such a lot of time on their weakness that because of paucity of time, weakness be average ho jata hai, and the strength also becomes average. We don't want that. Play on your strength always, whichever is the best for you. Work it and make sure that that is in your hand. And slowly work on your weaknesses so that those, rather than being negative, they come into average. But never stop working on your strengths. People spend a lot of time bridging their weaknesses. All their life, they go just bridging their weaknesses. Don't do that. For this paper, what is very important is work on your strengths. The strength should always remain strength. And then the weakness should go up and become average. And then you never know, out of some or most weaknesses, you should convert it into your strength also. But strength ko niche nahi lana hai. We are never going to bring down our strengths in life. Okay, so this is as okay. Now, one thing before I proceed any further, this is from my side as far as orientation is concerned, guys. Okay, Rajesh, have you? Okay, I just want to see how many people have joined our course till now. 1 second. How many people have joined our course till now? So I have Shikha, I have Hanuman, and I have Janvi. Rajesh, are you there? Are you in a position to join the course right now? Shwarna, I don't see. Yeah.
Can you
Please
hear
click
me?
on the link. Yeah, I can hear you now. Please click on the link. I've shared this link on the WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah, I did. Is this one a live US training reg,
Yes.
right? That
Yes.
one?
So click
Yeah, I
yes.
clicked that one and
So
I
it
log
will
in
show
also.
you. And then there's this course will show you buy now for free, right? Just click
Yeah,
on this.
it was there. Oh yeah, I didn't click that one.
Yeah, so you just create a login for Graphy, which is our LMS partner, and then you click buy
Let,
now for free. Then you will be able to see your dashboard with the course on it.
okay, let me do it. Yeah,
Do that, then I can see your name in the list of learners. Okay.
I did it.
Who else? Shwarna, I don't see your name, Shwarna.
Did
Okay,
you
now
see
I
now
see
my name now?
Shwarna. I see your name. Yeah, Rajesh.
Okay,
Janvi,
okay,
Shwarna,
thank you.
Hanuman, Shikha. Okay, yeah. So I am now deactivating the link. Pradeep, what is your status? Would you want to join?
Yes, ma'am. So that we can talk after this session.
Okay, no, you're talking about the money, right? But let me share. If you're
No, not
serious,
money. Yeah, yeah,
then wait. Then I can
yeah.
just
You
share
can
the
give.
link with you. I'll share the link. You join the course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
आप course join करो. Then we can talk about the monetary aspects. Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
So आपको दिया है मैंने. Just join the course. You already have a login, so you should be able to just click on buy now for free. You should be able to see.
Yes, ma'am.
Switch this. I should be able to see you in the learners list. So I've seen Rajesh, Janvi, this is Shwarna, Hanuman, Shikaya. Pradeep, I should see your name once you're logged in. अभी तक नहीं दिखा है.
1 second. I'll do.
This orientation link, I can check it, right?
No, not
I
orientation.
missed.
You have, sorry. Yeah, see,
I,
I'll tell you, Rakesh, every time, now here I have not added till now, but you will see every class there will be a, okay, I'll just show you one of my earlier lectures so you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So every session, not only orientation, every session that we will take the same day, like in today, it will not be today, it will be tomorrow. But you will see here, okay, this is reg. I'll show you far. Uh, okay, can you see? These are all the
yes,
recordings of our live classes. So if
okay.
this is my view, you can see it as a student. Every class, so here can you see for far? There was an orientation.
Yeah,
So this is the orientation
okay,
lecture. So every session
okay.
that we will take live, the same
Mm-hmm.
day, except for the weekend. So today's class will be updated tomorrow. But except for a
Okay,
live class, the same day you will see the session will be uploaded, but by the end of the day on the LMS. And then you can just see the lectures here. Okay?
okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, 1 second. Which course was it? No, I don't think you have joined. Have you? Pradeep, have you joined?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
You did? Okay. One
Yeah.
second. Let me just check whether your name shows. Yeah. So now I'm just deactivating the link, guys. Okay. 1 second. Yeah. So the link is deactivated. So everybody has access. Okay. Anybody needs any help with UWorld here? How to navigate through UWorld? Janvi, Rajesh, did you guys work out your way through the UWorld?
Can you please explain one more
Yes,
time?
ma'am.
Because yeah, please.
Okay, see, my point is I have a faculty access, okay? So I will not
Okay.
have a student access, but I'll just take you through some of the features that I would want you to. Okay, I don't remember my password.
Yeah, it
Hey,
does have.
okay, any student, can you share your ID once so that I can take them through it? Just share your ID once. Shikha, Shwarna, koi bhi, just share your ID once. You can change your password after this, okay? So I can show the student link to them. Or if you guys are there, can you just, one of you, take them through the UWorld? Shikha, can I give you
Can we
access?
share?
Yeah, 1 second. Shikha, are you there?
Hi, ma'am, I'm there.
So I am just making you the co-host right now. 1 second. Okay. So can you just share your screen and take them to the UWorld LMS? Just once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
just
just
share your
logging
screen.
in.
It's okay. Just share your screen. Yeah,
Is
we
my
can see your screen.
screen
Once.
visible?
Yeah. We will slowly see your screen. I am. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay.
Oh, wait 1 second. We can't see your screen that much. Wait. We can see your screen and I don't know. Are you guys able to? Yeah, now it's okay. Chalo, so this is going to be a login, okay? Rajesh, Janvi, Pradeep, I don't
Yeah.
know if you have UWorld. Yeah.
So after we log in, so here's reg.
Hmm. 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 Does it generally take so much of time to log in? Shika?
No, ma'am, it doesn't. Probably, I think there's some network issue at my end, but it doesn't take so much
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because for me, it doesn't take this much time at all. It's very
Yeah,
fast.
ma'am. Where do you want?
Okay. So you guys who are
Yeah.
taking UWorld for the first time, just see how to navigate, okay?
If we want to create a test, I mean, if we want to solve MCQs and SIMs, so this is the area under question bank. We can just simply click on create test. If you want to solve MCQs, just select the option for MCQs. We also have an option of solving MCQs only from UWorld or from AICPA. And under that also, we have options of solving MCQs from these pool of questions. Right now, obviously, everything is unused, but as in when we keep solving, some would be under correct, some would be incorrect, some would be omitted. So then we can just pool together those question pools and then solve questions.
Wait, 1 second,
And
one
these are
second. Can
the
you see
different,
marked? Wait, 1 second. I want you to show the see the marked one. Okay. Every
yeah.
time when you're doing an MCQ, and we'll just open one random MCQ test, maybe of 5-10 questions, because I want to show them how to mark the. Please mark your questions, guys. Okay. Because the idea is out of this entire pool, you are selecting some very nice questions that you would want to revisit. Okay. So you'll take a question from any topic. So this is flagging. When you see after one, there is a flag, you can flag these questions. And once you flag the questions, later on you can run this only on the marked questions. Then only these flagged questions would come when you are running those. So Shika, are you flagging your questions or no?
Yeah, I mean, ma'am, abhi tak to I have not done, but I can in future. Yeah.
No, you should flag. Yeah, are you doing like what? 100% of the questions you're doing again, Shika?
No, no, not 100%, ma'am. I'm solving on a like randomized basis only in my
Okay.
revision phase.
Actually, explain them
Yeah.
random and customized basis also. So this is
Okay.
how you flag your MCQs, okay? One more thing I wanted to explain you was compared to your book, you will see the topic. Just take them through the ebook, Shika.
Yeah. 1 second. Yeah. So you can see that the test I created, 10 have all the 10 have gone into the omitted bucket, but 3 have gone in the marked bucket also, as ma'am was explaining. And the ebook. So we have an ebook version here.
So this I would tell all of them. See, reg is one paper where even if you have to take the book, I would not mind. If you're a person who loves to read from the book, you can order a book. Hanuman, let me know if you want. Same for you, Janvi, Pradeep. If you guys want a book, let me know. We have books for both reg and TCP. I can give those to you. Rajesh, my suggestion is you will have to decide, but do it after 1 week has passed. Okay. Once you understand how we are teaching, after that, if you feel you need the book, then you should order it in the US initially. Don't wait a lot. If you feel you are a person who loves to read from the book, do it at the beginning rather than doing it towards the end. Okay?
So is it necessary? Because I heard some people are saying you don't need to
No,
read a book,
many
just
of my
start
students
MCQ.
don't buy the book. Many of my students don't buy the book because my suggestion is everything is in the ebook itself. But having said that, you take that decision after 10 days. And if you feel that no, I want to sit a lot of like Shika always needs the book. So there are students who don't want to study without the book. If you feel you are one such student, then just go and take the book. As simple as that. Okay? But there
No,
are
no.
lots
What
of
I'm
my
saying,
students, yeah.
What I'm saying, I heard somewhere that you don't need to read book. You just start MCQ and test.
And so that is what
More
we
test
do.
you will do, you will get it, because don't waste time in reading, because imagine it's a vast, it's like an ocean of things. Most of the things
That
doesn't
is
come in
true.
exam.
That
So
is true. That is true. I would also suggest that there will be 2 or 3 topics where I would want you to read it. That I will let you know, and you can do it from the ebook here.
okay.
So what what I'm trying to tell you is this is what you have heard, right? Our entire
Yeah, I heard.
studies are also made along this, but you make your own decision in the next 10 days. And if you feel
Okay.
that no, whatever is happening, I need the book, then you order it now rather than ordering it later. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. But
Okay?
is it advisable to have a book, right? As per
Again,
as
as
your
I told you, I
experience.
have reached a stage when I never refer to a physical book. So it is up to
Okay.
you. Like many of my students, like if you look at people like Jasmine and all of that, they never read any book. They would say that no, Shraddha, nothing I can retain in my mind by reading the book. So they did MCQs, they did a lot of the questions that I am giving, and then they were solved on that. You have to assess for your own self what works for you. If book works for
Okay.
you, then you'll have to do it within the next 10, 12 days. Don't delay it further. And if it does not,
Okay.
if you don't need it, then don't take it. See, just because, see, the problem with book is now the moment you have a book, you would want to read it, right? So that is
Yeah.
why I want you to try it at least for the next 10 days. If you feel you don't need it, then you don't buy it. Why would you unnecessarily buy it? Okay?
Okay. Got it.
So see, what I was trying to tell you is here, if you see the ebook, this is the exact same thing you will see in the book. There is nothing different. And the order that you see here, Reg 11, Reg 12, in the same order, there will be questions in the data bank. And if I say 16.01, see, this is what I have tracked, right? So in my schedule, if you look 16.01, that is actually go to ebook. You will be able to see which topic I'm referring to. And then that topic,
Ma'am, it's filing status.
हाँ but वो यहाँ से नहीं पता चल रहा है right शिखा what I'm trying to say is
हाँ,
the reference that I'll
that
be
from
giving you na the reference I gave you 16.01 from UWorld that reference you will see from from your ebook so that ebook will tell you okay 16.01 is filing status then simply go because this hierarchy is defined here in the book it is not defined in the MCQ so choose the topic here and then do the MCQ from that topic is that okay both Janvi and Rajesh is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's fine.
And so you see 16.01 and in the same hierarchy, you will see the question from the data bank. Then do the MCQ first and then do the SIMS. Okay.
Okay.
So you see here 16, so it will be in gross income. Go down. Oh no, filing status is separate. You just go to filing status and do this. So there are 23 questions in MCQ. Do full MCQs first, mark the MCQs, and then do the SIMS after you've done the MCQs. Okay. Now, one thing, Shikha, can you explain them how to take the customized and the randomized test?
So randomized is a very easy. Suppose we've completed, say, 4 topics. So just for example's sake, we've completed the first 4 topics. So you can just select, sorry, I'm under TBS. So you can just select these 4 topics from here, and whichever pool you decide to take the test from, maybe unused, incorrect, marked, or omitted, just select that pool of question and take a random test of whatever number of questions you'd like to
36.
solve.
You should
36 if
always
you want to
take
practice.
36 questions. Okay, 36. Also, go up, Shikha, go up. See, can you see this up? Go up. Go. Can you see this standard and custom? There are 2 tabs question mode, standard, and
Yeah,
custom, right? So, custom
yeah.
will show you questions from the pool where you made mistakes, and standard will show you from the full database from where the questions have to be retrieved. So, what
Ma'am,
is,
under custom
yeah.
mode, we need to give the particular ID or a keyword of the question. Otherwise, I mean, it will not generate a test under custom mode unless we give that ID.
Uh, oh, acha, then this is
Yeah,
different. In
yeah.
Becker, na, it is not like that. In Becker, the custom IDs are going to custom test are going to give you. So you are using only standard test. Okay, so here you can get the same result by using standard and then incorrect questions. See, if you take
Then
the
under in
topics, right? So here, if you want to run the same test, you will choose standard and you will use incorrect questions. So it will give you only those questions from the topics which has been incorrect by you. Got it?
yeah, yeah.
And if you're marking the questions, now I will not suggest putting in such a lot of wasting so much of time marking the questions, writing the QIDs, and then showing a custom. They don't do that. That is not needed. Okay. Just if you want to do that, I will show you how to use it. Okay. You just go to standard, select either marked or incorrect. So you can choose only marked and incorrect questions and then take a test. And this is how I would want you to do the revision, guys. Okay. Don't do the revision. Just revise a theory, whatever we are giving, and at the same time do your MCQ from the number of questions that you are marking. That is how you should. So either marked or incorrect. Okay. Okay. Just go to SmartPath. I want to explain SmartPath to you guys. Have you used this? See, the topics that you are doing, no? Every topic where your performance is really good. So what UWorld has done, they have mapped your performance with the performance of 90% of the students who have used UWorld and cleared it in first attempt. So they have a database of people who've used the material and cleared that particular section. So in every section that you're doing, whenever you start doing, you will see they will start saying what is your score vis-a-vis what is the score of those people who've used UWorld to clear CPA. So from here itself, you can understand which are the topics where you need to put in more efforts in order to clear your exam. And follow this, okay? Let's say you've done 5-6 topics. Immediately go and see what is your performance vis-a-vis the best in the market. You would know which are the topics which will need your effort. Shikha, you go back to your FAR once. Just go back to your FAR once. Okay, one more thing I want to tell both Janvi and Rajesh. If you're not decided on your add-on paper, don't launch that course. I have spoken to UWorld. They have said if we see that a course has not been launched, later if you want to change your add-on paper, the discipline paper, they will do it. So don't launch a course if you're not clear that you're going to take that as an add-on. Just go to your SmartPath for FAR. Ishika, can you see this? This is your score. And this your score is more than what is the score of most of the people who have cleared the paper. Can you see this?
Wow.
She cleared. I
Yeah.
mean, FAR, I just hope that she clears. But इसका audit देखोगे तो माथा खराब हो जाएगा. Audit में she cleared
Amazing.
first attempt 93 or 91. 90,
Wow.
right?
Amazing.
90. But this amazing is after a lot of attempts, Rajesh. It is not in the first
तो वो अभी
attempt.
करना है
No,
ना,
but
बाकियों को भी वही करना
it's
है.
it's an encouragement for us.
No. So that should not encourage नहीं. ये करना है तुम्हें अभी. हाँ, Rajesh, you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
will
yeah.
be the next,
No,
if possible.
it gives us a momentum kind of.
So I am sure even
Yeah.
Shwarna would be like, we are very serious students, okay? And you would be one of them. It's just that you need to show up every day and you need to do your part well. You would be sorted.
No,
Janvi,
definitely.
you have any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. I think that's it. Any other question?